or at least the 3 points is chill. Game. I feel like we were not clinical enough. Sorry. Once again, my name is K, and then I have Vince here with me. We've not been around here for a while, but it's good to be back here.
It's
Great to
good to
have you
be
guys
back.
here. Yeah,
Thank
good
you,
to be
thank you,
back.
thank you.
Yeah, good to be back. Well, back to the team. It was quite a celebration. We won the game narrowly, and then our rival City drew. That leads us 7 points clear at the top of the table. But at the same time, uh, uh, there was so much pressure around the game, Vince. I don't know about you. What do you think?
Well, I mean, this is the kind of game. I actually saw something from one of the, main, one of the popular, one of a from a popular pundit, and it said something about how the game against Brighton is going to be a very difficult game. I mean, he wasn't saying it out of,
Hmm.
hate. I mean, we are all
Hmm.
aware of the agenda, if you may,
Of
that
course, of course.
um, the mainstream media has
Yes,
against that. So that. But he wasn't
of
saying it out
course.
of that, anyways. But he was just saying these are the kind of games that you can easily draw points. But if you are going to go ahead and win the Premier League, these are the kind of games that you're going to be winning. They're going to be tricky, they're going to be hard, but these are the games that you have to win. And he wasn't wrong.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, it was a tricky game. I mean, I knew it was going to be a difficult game, though I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. Hey, hey, before you come for me, when I say it's that bad, I'm only talking about the performance, you know,
Of
from
course.
the attacking side of things. But we'll get to that. It was expected, at least from where I'm standing, I expected that, but what matters is the 3 points. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter how you win. What
It
matters
doesn't matter
is,
how you win.
the 3 points. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right,
that's the
right.
kind of game. Yeah.
Also, what do you make of the players' performance at the match? I mean, Saka was good, but I just feel like Saka sometimes just know when to shoot and when to pass. That's quite a challenge that I personally have with Bukayo Saka. He scored for the first time in a long while. His shot
Oh
hit the
yeah.
target, right, and he scored. That means if his shot would just hit the target, we'll have more goals from him. Even though it was a deflection, but it hit the target and it was our only goal. Amazing. But what do you make of the players' performance, the like of Jokeres? And I think Izzy wasn't so bad, likewise.
Okay.
I don't think Izzy was so bad.
I always say something that, this is just me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the kind of guy that believe, as a footballer, when you shoot, especially when you shoot in front of goal, the one thing you have to do is hit the target. I don't care if
Mm-hmm.
it goes in or not, just hit the target.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna score if you're not hitting the target. The
Mm-hmm.
only way you score is when you hit the target.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm happy. It was a tight game. We won. However, there's one opportunity or one chance. I guess you call it half a chance that Saka had. I love
Mm-hmm.
Saka. That's my star boy. Like it or
Mm-hmm.
not,
Mm-hmm.
that's my star boy, and I'm happy that he scored today. It's been a while. It's been a
Yeah, it's
while.
been a
So
long while.
yeah, so I'm happy he scored, and not just any goal, he scored a very important goal,
Important
you
goal.
know,
Yeah.
a very vital goal. So there was this opportunity that he had, kind of like drift from the right hand
Right to
side to the
left.
left. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
again, I don't know. I don't know. It comes off as if me being too hard on these guys, but if you're gonna hit, I know sometimes you're unbalanced after doing all those drifting and stuff. It kind of unbalance you. Sometimes maybe you're not aware of where your position at that time. The positioning is not, you know. as good anymore because you're not aware of where the goal is located. But
Mm-hmm.
when he Saka shot that or shoots that ball, I was looking at it. I'm like, no, come on now, Saka, you're better than this.
You're better than
Playing,
this.
you're
Exactly.
better than this.
You're better than this.
For me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew the overall play from Arsenal was bad. Brighton was the dominant team, but
Freaking dominant.
this was the kind of game that for me, I felt like I think I don't know. I don't know 100% about the second half, but the first half, I think the only attempt we had, in fact, the only shots that we had was literally the one that led to the goal.
Yeah.
I don't think we
Yes.
had any shot
No.
on target, any shot in. Well, I mean, for the most part, I don't even think the Brighton keeper had to save any ball.
Yeah.
Throughout the first half. So my thing here is this was the kind of game that I felt like we're not going to get a lot of chances.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest with you, call it stupidness, but I felt like we were going to score. I felt like this is the kind of game that we're going to score a second goal. We're
I
going to
felt
get
like
a
we're gonna
second
score a
chance.
second goal.
Yeah,
Same
yeah, we're
here.
going to. Yep, we're going to get a second chance and we're going to bury it. That's exactly how I felt because Arsenal, I know one of the biggest problem we've had with our Premier League side is the fact that they sit deep when they play Arsenal,
Mm-hmm.
low blocks. So
Mm-hmm.
for us, it comes off as if lately we started enjoying when teams actually come at us. You
Mm-hmm.
know, teams come at us and it gives us the opportunity to counter, it gives us the opportunity to express ourselves, to make streaming, put in one or two passes together and make something happen. I just felt like the way Brighton was coming at us, this is the kind of game that we get one of those passes, one pass, two pass, three pass, we're in front of goal, and that's the second goal. That's what I thought. Though it
Mm-hmm.
didn't happen, which again, it doesn't matter. We won, but these guys just need to learn how to hit the target.
Yeah, they
You
just need
know,
to learn how to hit the target right.
yeah,
I mean, like I
I don't.
said earlier, personally, I feel like Saka just needs to know Saka is good, but sometimes just pass. Okay, for that particular chance, the one you spoke
Mhm,
about, where he drifted somewhat from the right to the left, he could have passed to Martinelli, but maybe he
mhm,
felt Martinelli wasn't in a good position. Yeah, I get it, but I get it. But instead of taking the shot when you were not sure of your own position, I mean, just hold the ball.
yeah,
Just so that you can at least have an attempt at a target, even if the keeper wraps it.
yep,
You know,
yep,
yeah, just have an attempt at the target. Well, I mean, it was great. It was great. We saw a few of those. Rice was amazing. Gabriel is our wall at the back. Right.
the big man, Gabby, the
Yeah, Gabby
big
is our
man,
wall
Gabby.
at the back, man.
Yeah,
Man, thank God for Gabby.
yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, it doesn't get better than this.
Hmm.
It doesn't get better than this. When you have a defender like Gabby, and who knows? We keep talking about how we play and how we did not. It might just be, I mean, let's be very honest. Our defense has been our main strength, the most
Yep.
powerful assets that we have. And when
True.
we talk about our defense, it's not just, I know individually they are good.
Hmm.
Individually, Gabby is great. Individually, Saliba is great. Oh, don't get me started on Timber. Timber is that guy that he does what he does without you noticing what he does until you actually
Hmm.
go back, look at the
Hmm.
way this guy playing. You're like, who is this guy? Timber is
Hmm.
great. Incapié has been good. Incapié has been good. I mean, he's still not at the Gabi, Saliba, and you can even add Timber in their level,
Hmm.
but Incapié has been great. Now, um, we all know that defense is our strongest assets. Okay.
Mhm.
And our defense is not, even though individually they are good, but our defense is not our defense if we don't have at least three out of four of those guys, you know. And
Yeah.
maybe, just maybe, us missing the whole, the Saliba partnership with Gabi. Who knows? Maybe that's the reason why we weren't free to express ourselves up front. Because it comes off as if when one of these guys are missing, there's something that just goes missing from our game. You know,
Yeah. True.
not having Saliba there, who knows? Maybe that's the reason why we weren't. The game against Brighton was expected to be tough, anyways. But again, like I keep saying, I wasn't expecting it to be this bad to the point that
Mhm.
we could not play outside. Majority of the game was played in our half. They have
Mhm.
our side
Mhm.
of the pitch.
Mhm.
You know, so who knows? Maybe that confidence of, not necessarily confident. I'm pretty sure they trust the guys that played today, but there is something missing when Saliba is not there playing alongside Gabi, or Gabi is not there playing alongside Saliba. I
Saliba.
feel like it doesn't allow the other people, the people in front of them, to express themselves. They get a
Mm.
little. That's just an opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I get your point, right? But at the same time, I would see it from this angle, uh, between Gabi and Saliba. When it's the both of them there, um, it gives someone like Timber the opportunity to drift forward more. That's one,
Hmm.
and then it gives Saliba also the opportunity to. Saliba is good with passes. You know, it gives Saliba the opportunity to make some forward runs and release the pass while Gabi is behind. If you observe matches where you have Saliba and Gabi on the pitch, Gabi is usually the one who drops deep more. Gabi is usually the one who drops deep more, and then Saliba just maybe goes up front a little bit just to drop in those passes. And then
Hmm.
Timber is always on the offensive. But if you watch this game, if you watch this game against Brighton, you realize that Saliba, of as usual, didn't didn't move. He was just at the back. Maybe he was trying to also cover up for Christian Mosquera. At the
Right.
same time, Timber did not make so much runs up front. So there
Yeah.
just needed to be that balance at that,
Times.
yeah, that back, that back
Hmm.
line needed to be that balance. So I agree with what you're saying with Saliba, but I, I don't know. For me, I just think it's just that confidence. That's what I'm looking for. I think it's just that confidence, that gives the other, the fullback and then Gabi, that ability to say, okay, you know what, we got this covered. Sometimes it affects the game, but often than not, it actually works. Why? Because it puts us now on the offensive more. you
Right.
know
Right.
that
Right.
puts us
Right.
now on the offensive more. So I guess Saliba's injury is just a knock. I think he picked it up just before the game.
Oh,
It's just
really?
a knock. So
Okay.
yeah, I think he picked up just before the game. So Saliba should be back, um, maybe before the next game, I think,
Hopefully.
or by the next
Hopefully.
game he should be
I
back. The next
mean,
game is
with the
the FA.
Yeah, with the amount of games that we have coming up, we're going to talk about that because I was taking my time to look at the games coming up between Arsenal and Man City, not necessarily just the Premier League game, but everything. So we're going to get to them. Hopefully, eventually, we'll have time to talk about the games coming up. But we definitely need Saliba back. Okay, we
We definitely
definitely
need Saliba back.
need him back 100%. You know, the only person I was scared that was gonna miss the game was Timber. It was Timber, but I think it was maybe I don't think it was the last game. It was the game before. I think at the end of the game, I actually saw him limping. So I thought by would have heard something saying, but I hope not. I'm glad he's fit, running, playing, and all of that because we're gonna need all of these guys
Yeah.
for all the games coming up. But yeah. Honestly, it wasn't the most enjoyable game from an Arsenal perspective. Maybe from a neutral perspective, or from a rival perspective. Oh, it was a good game until the final whistle. It was a good game
Yeah,
because
it
if
was a
you're
good game. Yeah.
yeah, because if you're watching that game as a rival, you can just see it's like you can just see that it's only a matter of time before Brighton scores.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I'm not gonna lie, just the way we expected Arsenal to score and make it a 2-0, that game had a draw written all over it.
oh yeah, it
Yeah,
did, it
that game
did,
had a draw. It
it
had a
did.
draw written all over it. Yeah.
And you know what would have made me really mad today if we had gotten a draw from that game? I would have been really mad because City just dropped points. You
Yeah,
know how
City
we
just
talked
dropped
about
points.
you have to take
Right.
those opportunities.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly,
it would
exactly,
have made
man.
me it would have made me so mad that City dropped point and we went ahead and dropped point.
Good point. So
Honestly, that would have
it would
killed
have
me.
looked like at a complete agenda, you know.
Yep, yep,
Maybe
yep.
someone is
So
just trying to do something.
yep. So again, this is exactly, I mean, it would be better if we had, more points ahead of City, but any point dropped right now, it's a very important point. You know, whether it's Arsenal that is dropping point, hopefully not, or it's City that is dropping point. That's one I want. Um, I mean, it's just Arsenal just had just 8 games before the end of the season.
Yeah,
The
just eight
running has
games.
started. Yeah,
It
the running has
has.
started. Yeah, and don't forget that City. This is the time that City usually they tend to previous seasons, not this season. That I
They
mean,
tend to be
you
at the
would,
top of their game.
yeah, they tend to be at the top of their game. This at this time, they can drop point in other league like the Champions League and whatnot, but they hardly drop point in the Premier League. Starting from this time, this is the running period for them. They tend to be at the best of their game. So hey, if City is dropping 2 points, 8 games to go, I will take it. I think the commentator for the game against Brighton actually made a statement or comment during the game and said around this time 2 years ago, with this number of game left, said Arsenal was what maybe like 8 points ahead of City. And
Oh
don't
wow.
forget to yeah, around this time 2 seasons ago, Arsenal was 2 points ahead, 8 points ahead of City. And guess what happened? I think we lost 3 games out of whatever amount of games that was left. And City caught up with us and they won the league with what it was 1 point or 2 points that they won the league.
I think it was a 1 point. 1 point,
Yeah,
1 point, I think. 1 point difference.
yeah.
Or two. I don't
So
know.
so at this point, any point dropped, it's vital. So you know what will make me happy? What will make me happy is to see that City drop, even if it's another 2 points, you know, before we meet them. Arsenal go ahead and win. We just have one game. I think it's the game against West Ham before we play
Everton. We're playing Everton. Everton.
Everton. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if City can drop, well, not necessarily a
Oh
point,
no,
either
we're
three
playing
points or 2 points.
Everton. We're playing for the Premier League. We're playing Everton, and then we'll play Bournemouth. We'll play City.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
between those 2 games, of course, if we're playing those 2 games, they are going to be playing 2 games. But if we can win both games and they drop any points, at least 2 points or 3 points,
Unless two
whatever,
points.
before we play them, that would be game over. Because let's be honest, I keep saying it. I know I've told you several times. Before we play City, I just want to make sure we are at least 4 points ahead of City. You know, I know we can go to Etihad and get a point out of that game. I know we can do that. You know, I'm pretty sure we can do that. Though that's not what we should be playing for. We should go there and believe that we can win. we can take our 3 points. But if we can go to Etihad and even get a point from them in Etihad, that's game over.
That's
That's
game
game
over.
over.
If you
Yeah,
can get, if yeah, that's game over. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But but
If the results remain like this, and then we go to Etihad and get a point, man, that's game over.
that's game over.
That's game
Because
over.
at that point we just have, and don't forget when we look at the games that we have left, out of the 8 games that we have left, there are only 3 away games and 5 home games. Think about that for a second. The two biggest
Mm.
teams that we have to play that is left on that sheet, or three biggest team, if you may, is City, Fulham, and Newcastle.
Palace.
Yeah. No, not
Oh, you're
Palace.
playing.
I
Oh,
mean,
oh,
Palace is
Newcastle.
we're playing Newcastle. So City,
We're playing
Fulham,
Newcastle just after City, and that's
yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah. But guess what? The good news about those games, just like the Chelsea game, I mean, we all knew how we felt about the Chelsea game. You knew how you
Hmm.
felt. We all knew how
Of
we
course,
felt.
of course,
But the
of
only
course.
thing that I kept emphasizing when we talked was, at the end of the day, at least we have some kind of history with Chelsea that we can beat
Hmm.
them. And
Hmm.
also, we have the advantage of playing them at home,
Yeah, we had the
you know.
advantage of playing them at home.
So
Yeah.
we have truly only lost. I mean, I know a draw. We getting a draw out of any game left right now is not good enough. We have
No.
to win all of the games. However,
Yeah.
we haven't really lost any games other than the Man City game, right? That was the only game that we've lost at home. The Man
Hmm.
United game.
Yeah, the Man
I mean,
United game.
yeah. So it's we've had a whole lot, a few draws here and there, but even at that, we've only lost 1 game. So that in itself is a good record. When you think about the fact that we only have 3 away games left, 5 of the remaining 5 games are home at the Emirates. So hey, okay, honestly, I'm still not calling it yet, but it's looking good. That's all I can say.
Oh
Yeah.
well, I think we are on a run right now. 8 games to go. This is like the hardest part of the season, you know. 8 games to go, and I mean the pressure is real for someone like me. I don't feel like Ateta and the boys know how to handle pressure a lot, but I think this is the time where they need to learn how to handle pressure.
Oh
They just
yeah,
need to learn how to handle pressure.
I agree.
If we've had a history of bottling it at this time of the season, uh, they just need to learn. I mean, we finished good in January, February, and then for me, the fact that we remained at the top January, February, I think it's a good pointer. You know,
Yes,
yeah, it's
yes.
a good pointer that is suggesting that okay, we can actually finish at the top at the end of the season, or stay at the top at the end of the season. You know, but then what do you make of United?
You know, yeah, we already know how we feel about it. We know what we wanted. I mean, we know United. So okay, let me start like this. Okay, before I answer your question, let me go this way. You were the one that told me at one point. You said, "Look, Aston Villa, they were doing well. They're doing
Yeah,
so well."
yeah,
And you
yeah,
said,
yeah.
"But don't worry about Aston Villa,
Oh
okay?
yeah.
Because the games are going to start piling up on them,
Oh
okay?
yeah,
Um, very soon they're going to run out of legs. Not because they're
yeah,
not a good team. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, you know how this thing works.
yeah,
As an Arsenal fan, we know for years how we've suffered with small squad, and how small squad
yeah.
has been a big issue when it comes to us
Right,
competing in our games. Think
right,
about it. The very
right.
first season that we decide to at least get, I don't know how you want to put it, but get at least two people in every position. Look at where we are. It's almost the end of
Mhm,
the season. I mean, this
mhm,
is March.
mhm, mhm,
By May, the season is done. And when I say the season, I'm talking about Champions League, talking about
mhm,
Premier League, FA Cup,
mhm.
whatever.
That's just like 2 months and a few days
2 months
away.
ago, yeah, and we are
Yeah,
still competing in all four
all competitions.
competitions just
Yeah.
because of our squad. You said it. You said, look, Aston Villa is not because they are not a good team. They are a good team, and those guys are good. Let's be honest. I'll
Yeah,
give
yeah,
it to
they're a
them.
good team.
They are
They're a good
not
team.
my favorite team, but they are a good team when they
Hmm.
play. But you said it. You said eventually they're gonna run out of legs. Okay. By the time Champions League, European competition start kicks in, you know, they're gonna run out of leg and stuff. Now they are competing in well, I guess they are no longer competing in Premier League, but they were competing in Premier League, competing in FA Cup, competing in Europe, you
Yeah,
know.
in Europe.
So everything together is now putting everything together. It's kind of too much for them to handle. Now take that and reverse it to Manchester United. Okay. Manchester United as it stands, let's be truly honest. Unless Arsenal and City decide to completely bottle this league, Manchester United, as it stands, as we speak right now, you could have said before now that they were competing for top four, but they are actually not even competing for top four anymore because the people that is behind them are not even playing well. So they are
Yeah,
literally
true.
where they need to be.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
is
they
a strong
yeah,
fact.
so they are not even competing for anything. Top four
That's
would have
true.
been top four would have been something to compete for, but they are
Compete
not
for,
even
yeah.
compete for top four anymore because City, sorry, Liverpool dropping point, Chelsea
Chelsea.
dropping point, Aston Villa. Let's not even talk about them because they are not even there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're still there. They're still there. They still have 9 games to play, so they're still there, but really they're really not there. Okay,
They're really not
so
there, honestly.
yeah. So when you think about that, what is it that Manchester United or United, what is it that that is bothering them? Nothing. They literally have to wake up every week and put on their boots and their dress and shirt and whatever and step on the pitch and play football. And
Mm-hmm.
there's really nothing. There's no pressure. There's nothing. They're literally just playing. It's like someone playing football for, how do you say it? You know how you wake up on the weekend and wear put on your boots and your everything and jog into the pitch just to stay fit. The weekend
Yeah,
football.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
Manchester United they are doing right
That's what
now.
they're doing.
So so
There's
they
no other
that's
competition. It's just the
no
Premier
other
League.
competition. It's just they're not even in the Premier League. That's the thing. That's the thing. They are not even in the Premier League. They are playing what they call Sunday football. Just to let's play and stay fit. That's all they are doing.
Yeah, I
No,
get, I
no, no.
get, I
This is
get.
not me throwing shade at them, but it's literally the fact. So, with them winning, we knew that what we wanted was they've won. They started winning since they beat City, they beat Arsenal, and since then I don't think they ever lost a game. Except I think they dropped points against one of the mid-table team recently, maybe 2 weeks ago or something,
Yeah, they had a
and
draw.
which they almost came close to losing.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep saying it that as an Arsenal fan, even though we are not in competition with Manchester United, we just want them to lose. Not
We
because it
just want them
matters
to
much.
lose.
Yeah. Not because it matters much, but you don't want them to take this momentum into next season.
Yeah, true. That's
You
that's
know,
the thing. That's the
yeah.
thing.
So let
But
them drop points. They can't continue. I don't even care whether they are playing in other competition. I do not care. Whether they are in competition with me, I do not care. They need to drop that momentum because you don't. I personally don't want them taking it into next year, especially as an Arsenal fan. Mind you, Manchester United is a difficult team for Arsenal to play, even whether they are in form or they are not in form. So imagine
mhm.
if they've not been in form for the last, you can say, 1 or 2 seasons, and so for the most part, we've been winning against them. I mean, we've had more win against them recently, more than since I've been watching Man U, well, except when you talk about the times of the days of Arsene Wenger
Yeah,
back in the days. But
yeah.
these modern days, we've not really been successful beating Man United, until recently when, you will say the last year, a season or two. Okay. So I don't want them sitting on this form. I don't care what you want to call it, whether it's a new manager bounce, whether it's the fact that they are not in competition, they are not competing in all fronts, they are just playing weekly games. And I don't care what the reason is. I do not want Manchester United winning. They need to draw point. And they finally did today, which makes me very happy. Again, there's a lot of things that happened today,
That makes
that made
that we should be happy about.
for real, for real. It's a lot of things, both at the top of the table and at the bottom of the table. There's a
Yeah,
lot of things
you
that
know,
happen.
funny about talking about Manchester United, right? So I feel, I mean, their momentum is good for them right now as a team, yeah. But I feel like even if they finish with this same momentum down to the end of the season, I feel like I feel like they're not going to continue with this same momentum at the start of the season next season. First of all, we're not certain whether or not Carrick is going to get a job, you know. And
Right.
even if he does, even if he does, like we said earlier when Carrick came into the picture, like all of this is just the new coach honeymoon,
Honeymoon
So
period.
you remember what happened to Ansloth last season and then this season. I'm not saying that is like a template that should happen to every coach, but somehow it kind of even happened to Arteta. It happened to Maresca. It
Right.
happens to literally almost. It happened to what's this your guy's name? This former Tottenham coach,
And Angie
Sokoglu.
Postecoglou. My favorite coach, not really.
Your favorite coach, right? Exactly. So it happens to literally every new coach that comes in, and these clubs are not patient with these guys.
Yeah.
So I don't. Carrick is great. He's been doing a wonderful job, yeah. But for next season, the beginning of the season is where everyone has teeth. When you said like monstrous teeth is where everyone just wants to get on anyone. So it's not going to be easy for this same Man United that is just playing Premier. Like you said, they're not even playing Premier League. It's not going to be easy for them at the start of the season where we also have multiple competitions to get on. It will be easier for a team like Aston Villa to fit into starting next season, than for a team like United. But let's leave that till the season is
And
over. Yeah,
yeah,
go on.
and let me just add something to that. And don't forget the win against Manchester United. Manchester United actually caught everyone off guard.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
not forget that. You
oh
know,
yeah.
they beat when they won against Manchester City, right? It
hmm
was it wasn't much of a surprise. I don't know about you. Let me know if what I'm saying makes sense. It wasn't much of a surprise
I
because
don't think it
of
was a
the
surprise. It was a
yeah,
derby game.
yeah, and moreover, it was when you consider when you think about how inconsistent Manchester
City,
City has been
City.
prior to that game, well, throughout the
True.
whole season, right?
hmm
You would be like, when they lost against Manchester United, you would have been like, oh yeah, it's just Man City, right? They haven't been the consistent Man City that we knew. So hey, it's a
hmm
derby, it's inconsistent Man City. So now when Arsenal lost against them, right?
Yeah.
It was a surprise. Okay. Honestly, it was a surprise, especially at the Emirates. It was a surprise. But guess what? You can agree with me that at that point, we still weren't sure what was going on. We wasn't sure
Yeah.
what to expect. We actually saw what we saw was uh bad form Manchester United.
Oh yeah.
That's what we thought we were going to play. A
Oh
bad form
yeah.
Manchester
Oh yeah.
United that just won against an inconsistent Manchester City.
City.
If
You
that
are
makes
very
sense.
correct. You're very
You know.
correct.
So that's who we thought we were going to play, but we forgot that the team in general, individually, they had good players, except that
hmm
there's a system that Amorim was trying to incorporate into them that either they did not like or just did not work.
Oh
Carrick
yeah.
came in. Carrick, let's be honest, I'll give him his flowers. He's done a great job with them winning consistently since he took over. But did he really do anything fancy? Not really. He just went back to basics.
He just went back to basics.
And
He,
he
he
was
just did
lucky.
he just did what Ferguson would have done.
Yeah. And he was also lucky. It just happened to coincide with the time that their defender, the aggressive defender that they have, what is his name? Martinez. It just happened to coincide with when Martinez came back from injury. And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
speaking of Martinez coming back from, he's actually, I don't think he played today. I think he's currently on some kind of injury.
Uh,
You know, so
uh,
yeah. So this Manchester United that, it's a whole lot of things that is working in their favor right now. There's the element of surprise. There is the element of what
oh,
you
he's
call
actually
new.
on injury, yeah?
There you
He's
go.
actually on
There's
injury.
also the element of new coach bounce or honeymoon period. Okay. There's also, like I just mentioned, Martinez coming back and helping, get that defense together. And like we just agreed now, he's on injury. I don't know when he went on injury, but he's on injury. Guess what? They lost.
They lost.
They
They
lost.
lost. They
So,
lost.
so, so everything just happened to work for them around this period. But like you said, it's not gonna be like that starting next
No,
week.
it's
Because
not going to
now
be like
everybody
that.
know. I don't know about other teams, but I know Arsenal know what they are dealing with next time they meet Man United.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
they
You
know.
know, we spoke
And
about this before. We're like, sorry to interrupt. We're like, you know, regardless of how we finish this season, which we hopefully and we pray that we finish well, especially with winning the league, man.
mhm,
We just have to, you know, regardless of how we finish this season, next season is going to be better. You know, you said this when we were talking the other time, and you were like, the entire team is almost new right now. You could barely find a few players who were there before, you know, and then the squad depth we have now, the team rotation that keeps going on, the team is still yet to sink.
think, yeah,
Team is yet to sink, is yet to blend. So because of that, imagine how well we played while the team is still trying to sink. So what happens when we do preseason together, when the management and then the entire team have learned to make certain corrections, and then we get into next season? I think it's going to be really amazing next season for the Arsenal team. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, I think
yeah,
so too. I think so too,
yeah,
and that's why it's important that we win a major trophy. And
yeah.
when I say
We made it.
major
We win a
trophy,
major
I
trophy
would like a Premier League, but Premier League and or Champions League. Heard what
and
I said.
or Champions
Premier
League
League and or Champions
or
League.
Champions League.
Because
Yeah, I get it.
these are the two trophies that will make players want to go again next season.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's
You
very
know,
true. That's
some
very
people
true.
might decide to stay, but they are really not interested in the project. But
Mm-hmm.
if we
Mm-hmm.
manage to win something major, a major trophy, that's what will make this player want to go again next season.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
fair. That's
so
fair.
so honestly, I'm really hopeful, but um, back to Manchester United, it's not gonna be that easy for them. They are surprising. They are taking everyone by surprise, and now it's starting to look like teams are now knowing what to expect. And I'm talking about mid table teams. These are
Mid-table
the teams that have been
teams.
taking points from them. So mid table
Mid-table
teams
teams.
are actually being able to take points from them because now people know what to expect. I'm pretty sure if we had to play Manchester United next week, they
Now,
would
all
not have
right,
won that game.
right.
If we were to play Manchester United next week, they would not win that game.
The funny
You know.
thing is, just like I was actually expecting the points drop with for Man U to be against Aston Villa, which is their next game. I was shocked to my bones that
It
Newcastle
was
actually defeated them. Now with this defeat, them going against Aston Villa, I don't think that's gonna be a funny match. Aston Villa ain't gonna take it easy on
nah,
Manchester
nah,
United.
nah.
Nah,
It's gonna be
nah. So
war.
it's gonna be war. That's when they would now realize that they really have something to play for. It's been a
Yeah.
cruise all this time. When yeah, it's been a cruise. Yeah, when they won against when they won against Everton, once no, when they drew against West Ham, I knew that something was already happening to United. The momentum was dropping. Then they won against Everton. It was an away match, 1-0. And they
Barely
almost
won
drew
that
that
game.
match. They
Barely
barely
won
won
that
that
game.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then against Palace, it was a comeback. Palace was winning 1-0. Perhaps leading 1-0, then they won 2-1. When I saw those three features, I was like, especially the first, I was like, it's something is happening to United, and it's not going to last so long. Now, imagine if this same team that is just, according to you, that is just coming to exercise the legs every week, every other weekend. Imagine if this same team is on the Europa or is on FA. And the funny thing, we don't give enough credit to the FA. The FA is actually a difficult competition.
It is.
Those, yeah, it is. Those championship and lower teams, they can kill.
Yes.
Just to get something out of you, a Premier League team.
And it's not just about getting something out of you. They just need to get to the next phase of the competition, because every phase for them is it's good enough money, if that makes sense. These are championship team. It's not like Premiership, a team that is being spoiled with money. These are championship teams. So every next stage that they go to, it's good money for them.
It's good money for them.
So it's not that. I used to think, oh, magic of FA, they want to come and show themselves. No, they want to beat a big Premier League team. No, it's all about it. Yeah, they want to beat them, a big team, but nobody cares. We all know it can happen. But to them, it's also from getting to just the next phase. I mean, when you look at the teams that are left there, I saw a team like Wrexham. I don't know if that's how you say the word Wrexham. Wrexham owned by this American guy. What's his name? American actor. That team.
Yeah, that actor. I know the guy.
Yeah. So that team has come a long way.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. So I know he actually put in a little bit of money into the team. Plus, I think the team has some good management, in my opinion. Now, I don't know much about them, but I think they also have, other than the money that is being invested in them, they have good management. So if you're investing money in that team, it's not going to hurt to keep pushing that team just to get to the next phase, because every phase is a way of repaying the owner for the money spent in that club. I don't know if that makes sense.
Of course, it does.
100%. So I agree with you. FA Cup is not an easy competition.
No, it's not. It's not an easy competition.
Yeah.
What it was great. I mean, in their lowest, I'm talking about Man United now. In their lowest, it was Grimsby that kicked them out. Yeah.
That's the one name that no Manchester United fan
wants to talk about. Nah. It was Grimsby. It was that bad. So imagine if this same team, I mean, Amorim was that coach, that they didn't want. But imagine, let's give the same pressure that Amorim was under, in all competitions to Carrick. Let's give it to Carrick. Let's see how he performs.
No.
Great game all the while for Carrick and his boys. Yeah, I just hope that they continue momentum good for them. I don't hope they do for my team, for the Premier League, but for them, I hope they do. But I don't see them continuing this momentum.
This run,
I don't see them continuing this run. And next game is Mansfield, the FA. I'm not so concerned. I feel we're going to get a win out of that. Now, here's my concern. Yeah, my concern is we're playing after Mansfield. We're playing Everton. No, we're playing the Champions League game. Yeah, then Premier League Everton.
Mm-hmm.
The return leg of the Champions League, Bayern Leverkusen. Then we are going to play City, then Bournemouth, and then City. I am absolutely concerned because I don't see how we're going to win two of those games.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because I have been thinking about it. We want to win. Oh God, yeah, that's a tough one. We want to win the Carabao Cup, right? Truly, we want to win a Carabao Cup. I want to win the Carabao Cup.
Of course.
Okay, but you just finish. If we go ahead, hope we do. I hope we do. When we go ahead and beat City in
Carabao
Cup final, right? City, they're going to come back for revenge.
They are gonna come back for
you
revenge.
know,
They're gonna come
and
back bad.
bad, mad,
Like
crazy, hurt. They're gonna come back for revenge. And now, if they come back for revenge, and if you heard what I said earlier, I was very clear when I said it earlier. I said we should go into that game for a win. However, if we end up, well, I started by saying by the time we play them, well, not in the Carabao Cup final, but in the Premier League, I hope that we are at least 4 points ahead of them. That was how I started. Then we can go into that game and play for. We should go into that game for a win. However, if we end up taking a draw, um, if we end up taking a draw out of it, I'll be fine with it. For as long as we have at least 4 points ahead of them, because a draw, if we are above them point wise and we get a draw from that game, it just leaves us wherever we are. It leaves them wherever they are, you know. However, I hope this doesn't happen. If we end up, say, we end up losing that game to them because it's at the Etihad, they have the advantage, home advantage. We want to make sure that we are still at least a point ahead of them. At that point,
yeah,
our faith is not reliant on them. Our faith
yeah,
100% lies on our hand, our
yeah,
ability to go ahead and win the remaining
yeah,
games,
yeah,
which is going to be about 4 games at that point, 3 or 4 games at that point. So I want to win Carabao Cup. I hope we beat City in that Carabao Cup final, right? And deal with
yeah.
the repercussion that comes afterwards.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
know, I know. I,
yeah,
I, for me, of course. See, the truth is, so here's how I see it. Right, City is not going to give us any chance whatsoever, whether it's Carabao Cup final
yeah,
or the Premier League.
mhm.
City is not going to give us any chance at all. So, but for me, what I would rather want is we give everything we have, not everything per se, but we give so
Oh,
much.
everything,
So yeah,
everything.
everything. Yeah,
We give everything to
we
the
give
Carabao Cup.
everything. Yeah, we give everything to the Carabao Cup and ensure that we get a win. If we can't do that, then we know for a fact that Guardiola and his boys are going to come right at us.
Strong,
You know,
yes,
and then we can just try. We can just try. Well, just like you said, whatever happens, we know, okay, this is our fate. We accept it. As long as we are still at least 1 point above them, we can still make anything out of it. You know,
yes,
if
yes.
we can, if we can win Everton, regardless of their result in the next game, we are still 7 points ahead. That's 2 matches plus 1 point. You
Mhm.
know, if we can beat Bournemouth or not, if we can beat Bournemouth or not,
We
we are
should,
still,
we should,
we are, we
we
should,
should.
we
I mean,
should.
these teams are difficult teams to play. Let's be honest. I mentioned Newcastle. I mentioned Fulham. I left out Bournemouth, but Bournemouth is actually a difficult team. Again, these are teams you can place in the same level as Brighton. Except Brighton
Mm-hmm,
has
mm-hmm.
been in a very good form lately. I don't think they've lost. I think they've won their last 3 or 4 games prior to meeting Arsenal.
That's Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton. So they've actually been on a really good run of form.
I think
So
they won their last 2 games for Arsenal.
yeah. So it's not a coincidence that they played against Arsenal the way they played. Again, I'm gonna divert a little bit, and I'll let you continue what you're saying. When we drop points against Nottingham Forest, it was one of I mean, I think the only points that we dropped that was more painful than we dropping point to Nottingham, in my opinion, was the point we dropped against Wolves. You know,
Oh yeah, oh
but
yeah, oh
but
yeah.
but think about it. Wolves, if I actually have gone after us after that game, they've gone and won their last 3 games.
Oh yes, true.
So it's like we tend to play these people at their best form. Nottingham Forest, when we dropped point against them, we were crying, we were all shouting, we were all mad and stuff. But look at that, they came and dropped 2 points away from Manchester City. So at the end of the day, are you gonna? I mean, I wish we didn't drop point against them, but are you gonna really be mad at these teams Not really, because again, what is good for the gent is good for the gander. Isn't that how they say that
Yeah.
stuff? So hey, you take point from me, you're going to have to take point from Man City. You know, but all I'm saying is, um, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, sorry, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Fulham. These are all tough run of game. But when you're done with what you're saying, we can do a rundown of the fixture that Manchester City have. You would discover that even though they are not all Premier League fixture, but these are fixtures that will take blood out of them by the time they get to
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah, it will. It will. You know,
Yeah.
when you spoke about Wolves, I realized that, oh yeah, at the end of the day, it looks like a good result when they took a point out of Arsenal, because they
Hmm.
went on to beat Aston Villa, and they went on to beat Liverpool in their last
There
game.
you
So
go. I think there's
yeah.
another team they actually beat. 3 games that they've won right
Oh
after
really?
that game against us. Yeah, I think it's 3 games that they've won after us.
Oh wow.
Um,
So
yeah, yeah. So
so
that tells you that at the end of the day, would I have preferred to draw point against Wolves, bottom table Wolves? No, but
no.
they're in some kind of run of form right now,
Oh,
and they are beating everybody they meet, except they did not beat Arsenal. Was it
except they
the
did not
Arsenal
beat
that gave
Arsenal.
them the form? I don't know. But I can tell you the Wolf that we played that they did not play like a Wolf that was at the bottom table.
Yeah, exactly. They did not actually. They did
Yeah.
not. They played like an informed Sunderland. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
They played like an informed Sunderland. The Sunderland that's informed.
The
Crazy.
first half of the season, Sunderland. Yeah.
Yeah, the first half of the season Sunderland is just crazy. But then, I mean, Arsenal. My concern is just I give it to Arsenal and Arteta and the boys. They're going through a lot. They're going through a lot, with the run of games, and all that. And I give it to them, yes. But at the same time, we just need to try and be consistent with the games. Funny enough, if you check it, if you look at it, getting Carabao out of the way is not. It doesn't even negate the amount of games we've been playing prior to now. Why? Because now we're playing Champions League home and away games. So even if we get Carabao out of the way, it's still like we're still in like the same run of games we've been used to before. So
Hmm.
I'm just wishing. I'm not saying that we should get out of the competitions, and focus on one. But I'm just wishing that we had enough spaces in between for the games. But that's how the game is. The boys, their legs need to rest. And when you also look at it, it's not just us now that are playing these games. City is playing this same game too.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm glad. I'm
right
glad. I'm
now,
glad you came there. I'm glad you
yeah,
brought it up. Um,
exactly.
permit me to give you a rundown of the City game. Okay. If you look at City, their next game that they are playing, that's in today is what that's in on March the 7th, right? That's
Oh,
what in
okay.
3 days time or 2 days
Yeah,
time. Um,
yeah,
City are gonna play Newcastle,
yeah.
right, in the FA Cup.
Hmm?
You can call that FA Cup, but you know that City, Pep Guardiola is not feeding his second 11 or whatever to play that game.
Of course, of
He's
course. He's not
playing
gonna make
just
that mistake.
Yeah, just like Newcastle, they are not feeding anything other than their first 11 because they
True.
cannot afford to lose, get kicked out of Carabao Cup by
FA.
this same Man City. And now Man City is going to come do it to them again in the FA Cup. I mean, they are
In the
technically
FA
not
Cup.
fight. Yeah, they are technically not fighting for anything right now other than the FA Cup and I
That's
think
true.
they are still in Europe, right? I think they are still in Europe. They are
Europe.
playing. Is
Are you
it
sure they are
Barcelona?
there?
No, they are in
That's
Champions League.
Newcastle. Oh, that's Champions League.
Newcastle,
They're in
yeah.
Champions
Yes,
League. Yeah.
I think they are playing their next
They're
game next
playing.
week. Actually, is
They're playing.
Barcelona.
They're playing Barcelona their next
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. So let's be, if they truly want to be honest with us, anybody can beat Barcelona now, but they know they're not going to win that game.
Of course, they
Okay.
know they're not gonna
So
win the
their
game.
their most realistic chance of winning, a trophy this season is FA Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a smart Eddie Howe will make the FA Cup, the game against Man City, a priority over the one in Champions League, even though Champions League has more money, more view, and whatnot. But a smart guy that really want to win a league, win or something this season, will make that FA Cup a priority. Because if Man City have to pick between FA Cup and Champions League, I'm pretty sure they will pick Champions League
Of
over
course,
FA
of
Cup.
course,
But I
of
don't
course.
see Pep Guardiola feeding a weak team in this game, especially after the draw point. They are not going to feed
Yeah,
Oliver. But guess what, though? This is the problem here. I believe that Man City is going to feed a strong team against Newcastle, just like Newcastle is going to feed a strong team against Manchester City. We can
yeah,
afford to feed a weaker team. We can
yeah.
afford that.
Playing Mansfield.
Okay. Yeah. Then after that, guess who Man City? Man City has will have to travel to Bernabeu. I think that's how you call it, to play Madrid first
Madrid.
leg of Champions League.
That's gonna be a
Okay.
tough game. I'm not gonna
That's a
lie.
rough game.
That's a rough game.
That's a
See,
rough game.
I'm not gonna lie. City can go ahead and win Madrid, but I don't see City winning Madrid.
No, I don't see that. Home and away,
Honestly,
I do not see that.
they can go ahead and win. It's fine. It's gonna be. I won't say it's gonna be a surprise. I'll clap for them. I'll applaud them.
Hmm.
But right
Hmm.
now, from here, I don't see
I
City
don't
winning
see it.
Madrid.
Yeah,
Nah, nah,
yeah.
nah. It's gonna be
So
a rough
after
game.
after that game, they will return back to Premier League with West Ham, which in all of the run of game that they have, that's actually the easiest of them all. Then after
Mm,
that, they host Madrid again in the Etihad. Guess what? After Madrid, after they are done playing Madrid, they then play Crystal Palace. I think they moved that game actually. They moved
oh,
that game.
oh,
That yeah, against Crystal Palace, it got moved. So after that, the next game after Real Madrid is then playing Arsenal in
oh
Carabao
yeah,
Cup final. So
oh
guess
yeah. No,
what?
they're playing. They're
By the
playing West Ham. Abi? Oh yeah. After Palace. After
yeah,
Palace, they're playing Arsenal. Yeah.
no. So I think that the Palace game got postponed,
Oh really? That means after Madrid,
which
they're
is gonna
playing
be an
Arsenal.
advantage for them. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what happened. So that's the same weekend that we are supposed to play Wolf. That I think
Whoa.
that's why the game against Wolf
Oh,
got
we have.
played
That's why
early.
we have one game ahead.
Yeah. So
Oh, I
so we
see.
will get the same amount of rest that they are getting, you
Oh, I
know.
see.
You know.
Yeah.
So but
Yeah.
it would have been bad if they had played that game. Well, they couldn't play it because I think the game was supposed to be March 21st, and the Carabao Cup final is scheduled for March 22nd. So it
Oh,
couldn't have happened
yeah.
anyway. So we
Yeah.
get the
It
same
couldn't have
amount of
happened.
rest, right? But the only advantage that Arsenal might get from this, is the fact that would have had rough back-to-back rough games. You
Hmm.
know, why Arsenal? The only Hopefully Arsenal can go to Germany and win, right? So the if they can get 3 points from, well, not just 3 points. I think the goals that you win by matters in Champions League. So if they can
Yeah.
comfortably win, beat Bayern Leverkusen at their home,
Yeah. Yeah.
the importance to want to play and make sure you win at home is not going to be that much. I mean,
Yeah.
they still have to win. But I feel like Arsenal, when on paper, playing Liverpool and Bayern Leverkusen is actually easier than playing Madrid on paper.
On
On
paper.
paper, you know. So
On paper.
I feel like Arsenal could easily win these games and come into a Carabao Cup final with momentum.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we don't get injury. But City
Yeah.
can't, just like you mentioned, we don't see City winning all these games. And
Hmm.
the moment you're losing, the moment it feels like there's something you are not doing right and you want to
Hmm.
tweak something, you want to change something, and that change doesn't always work.
Yeah. True.
And those change might just lead to the whole system that they have built crashing. And they will come into that Carabao Cup final all over the place. I hope that's what happens to them. I mean, this is me just saying, but I hope that's what happens to them. So that's why I feel like I'm kind of hopeful with the Carabao Cup final, but I do need Arsenal to clean up their game a little bit. We've been winning. I'm happy, but we need to add some, not necessarily add some flair, but just uh, be able to put together some, good passings when we play.
The
I feel
good
like we've
passes,
not,
and then
yeah.
yeah, I mean, if anything is gonna cost us, cost us title this season, I think it's gonna be our attack. Yeah, our attack. I think that's what's gonna
Do you
cost
think
us.
it's
Cost
our
us.
attack or our midfield? Because I feel like it's more of our midfield than an attack.
Uh, well, maybe
Because
we should just say,
if you pay
go on.
attention to the changes that Arteta made today, it took out Gyökeres. Of course, Gyökeres wasn't in the game because most of the game that was being played was played in our half. You know, every now and then he tried to do some hold up play, but Brighton was just too good today. Let's be honest, they were too good.
Oh yeah,
You
oh
know,
yeah.
but Gyökeres was technically not in the game, so he took out Gyökeres and brought in Havertz, who can also help in that midfield. You know,
Mhm.
took out Martinelli and brought in Trossard. I don't know. I don't know about that change, though. I'm gonna be
Trossard
honest with
was
you.
shabby.
Yeah.
Trossard was shabby.
Yeah, I don't know about that change. But eventually he brought in Calafiori, you know. Again, all these people that he brought in were people that could slide into midfield while they are playing whatever they are playing. They could easily slide into midfield and help with the midfield because honestly, even against that game against Chelsea, remember I told you something. Every time Chelsea launch a pass into that midfield, there is no Arsenal player there.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much the way Brighton would have won that game, this game against this last game, it would have been because of how they were able to they literally control the game.
Yeah.
And how do you control game? You control game when your midfield actually is working. Our midfield
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working. Their midfield
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever they played dominated ours. So even though our attack is not like firing, I feel like don't expect your attack to be on fire when your midfield is not even able to put one or two passes together.
Hmm.
You know,
So
we
that
were
means go on, go on.
So we were doing a lot of defending because everybody was willing to die for the team. That's the only way we won that game today, not because
Yeah,
we
that's the
played
only way
good
we
football.
go. No,
Yeah.
no.
So I just feel like hopefully by then we will be able to figure out what's going on. I don't know if it's tired legs, but you can not be having tired legs right now because of the numbers of games that are coming up, the kind of games that are coming up. So hopefully by then we'll start playing some good, I mean, better football. Hopefully that's my prayer.
Oof. I mean, a 7 points cushion is a good one at this
I love it.
point. I'm not.
I love
Yeah, I
it.
love it. So yeah, it's been a good conversation here. Very amazing. I mean, this Arsenal team will not kill somebody. Right.
I've been waiting for you to say that, man. It's not easy being an Arsenal fan,
No,
but
it's not easy
hopefully,
being a national
hope
fan at all. At
yeah,
all. It's
well,
not. It's
hopefully
not.
we can start reaping the our
Yeah.
what is it called?
Yeah.
The true, not necessarily the trust, but our dedication to the team. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can reap the results
We
at
can reap
come
the
the end of this
result.
season.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. I guess. Well, it's been amazing out here. Thank you everyone who stayed by. Thank you so much, our subscribers. Do not forget to comment your thoughts on everything we said on the game against Brighton, the 7 points cushion, the next game against Everton, and let us know. Just let us know your thoughts in the comment section. What you think, and till we come your way again. Hopefully, we'll do a match preview with the game against Everton, and then
I would
we'll
love that.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
love that.
yeah. We'll do match preview with the game against Everton, and then till then, stay cool, stay calm. Please support the team. We're in this together, all of us, as Arsenal supporters. Thank you so much, Vince, for joining. Chuck couldn't join today. Hopefully, he gets on a call then the next time when we get here. I remain your host, Kay. So great to be an Arsenal freak. See you. Come on, you Gunners.